Welcome back, everybody. Okay, before we move on, I want to talk about paraphrasing. There's a few more rules that can be helpful. Generally, one rule of thumb is no more than 3 consecutive words from the original. If you have more than 3 words in a row, and this is just a basic guideline, but it's more like you're taking too much and you want to go ahead and quote it if you're tempted to use that much of the original language. Okay. Can you use a word from the original in your paraphrase? Yes, you can. If there is not another good word that replaces it, another good synonym, a word that means the same thing, if you need 2 or 3 words to replace that one word, it's usually easier to just go ahead and use that word, and you won't get in trouble for using the one word. So something like touchscreen is a little bit hard to describe in other words, or doesn't have a lot of good synonyms, or robot. So it's more rare. Usually you can find a good synonym for the word, but you can use a word from the original and not get, dinged for plagiarism for doing that. So let's do some practicing. So I have this passage here that starts with, "The Antarctic is a vast source of cold on our planet." Okay, so this is the quote. Let's all work on it, take it and put it into our own words. Okay. So the Antarctic is a vast source of cold on our planet, just as the sun is a source of our heat, and it exerts tremendous control on our climate. So if you remember in the guidelines, it said that the paraphrase might be slightly shorter, same length to slightly shorter than the original. So let's read the whole passage. The cold ocean water around Antarctica flows north to mix with the warmer water from the tropics, and its upwellings help to cool both the surface of the water and our atmosphere. Yet the fragility of this regulating system is not threatened by human activity. And then they have the source, right, from Captain Cousteau from Audubon, May of 1990. So now if we're going to take this passage and put it in our own words, usually what we would do is read the passage to kind of get a feel for it, and then try not to look at it while we're paraphrasing. Because when you're reading it, it's very tempting to keep the same sentence structure and the same rhythm. And it just sounds like an echo of the original if you do that, as opposed to just fully translating it into your own words. So let's look at the ideas instead. So the first idea, and the Antarctic provides a source of cold, just like the sun provides heat. So one thing you could do, so how would we reword that? Anybody have a sentence idea that they could throw out there in the chat? How can we put that in our own words? Imagine, one way to do this is imagine, Mary says, "I don't understand what that's saying. Can somebody explain it to me?" Well, you're not going to read her the passage back because she didn't understand it the way they said it. You're going to try and explain, right? That's what you want to do when you're paraphrasing. What do you think? What is the idea of that first sentence saying? If I asked you, what is that saying, Emmeline? How would you put it into your own words?
I would somehow talk about the weather.
Yes.
And how it's the source of the cold.
Good, because it mentioned climate, so weather is another good synonym for climate, right?
Yep.
So we'll pick out the words and we'll say our weather is affected by the of the Antarctic. You guys like chill? I have better words. Chill seems a little too wimpy, right? If it's saying it's a vast source of cold, I think chill isn't strong enough. Help me find a better one. This is part of what you do. We're drafting our paraphrase here. So vast source. How about extreme? I think we can use cold. I don't think we get in trouble for using the word from the original.
You could use coldness.
Okay, extreme coldness. So our weather is affected by the extreme coldness of the Antarctic.
Or bitterness.
What was that?
Bitterness.
Bitterness? Bitterness could be construed in different ways, but I like coldness.
Okay.
It's good that you're trying out different. Yeah, you try the one and you find the one that you think comes as close. So our weather is affected by the extreme coldness of the Antarctic, just like the sun's heat. Also affects our weather. And this is clunky right now because I'm just trying it out. So then you can polish it and see. Our weather is affected by the extreme coldness of the Antarctic, just like the sun's heat also affects our weather. Yeah, I don't love it, but it's a good beginning. So then we want to add our signal phrase in here, right? Because it comes from a source and a specific person said it. So according to who? Jacques Cousteau, right? And it's my words, so I don't put quotation marks around it, right? So according to Jacques Cousteau, our weather is affected by the extreme coldness of the Antarctic, just like the sun's heat also affects our weather. I don't know, affects, influences? See, we'll do some editing. And then it's still him, right? I don't think we need to explain that he told that to the camera. He also explains, because that way we are sure that it's still coming from the same source. Okay, so using transition words like that. He also explains. Now the next thing is the cold ocean water around the Antarctic, around Antarctica flows north to mix with the warmer water from the tropics. Okay. So how do we say that? Frigid water from Antarctica flows north. So instead of flows, how about we say travels? Or words that mean the same things. You can still use north because really there's not a good other word that we can replace that with. And combines instead of mixes. With warm water. And you can tweak it as we go along. Let's see. How about tropical warm water? And then it's saying it's cooling the surface of the water in our atmosphere. So it combines the tropical warm water and cools off the ocean and the atmosphere. And then you go back and check it. And you look for any place where you feel like you've gotten too close to it. I feel like atmosphere is kind of close, and I would probably go back and change that word. So I don't know, somebody help me, give me a better word for atmosphere. Just do air, right? see, is that accurate enough? Then you check it. Travels north and combines with tropical warm water and cools off the ocean and the air surrounding the Earth. Might be getting a little worried. And then you just check it against the original. And when you check it, you want to make sure you didn't add any ideas that were not there and that you're representing everything that they're saying. So you didn't take away from it and you didn't add to it. Okay? Commenting on it, you save for after you've introduced the information, because we do want to know what is the significance of this piece of information you just gave me from the source. How does it support what you're saying or further explain what you want us to know about your topic? So you'll say something, this quote from Cousteau shows that if the polar ice caps are melting in Antarctica, it's going to have a big influence on our weather. If you're maybe doing a paper on climate change. So he also explains that frigid water from Antarctica travels north and combines with tropical warm water to cool the ocean and surrounding air, something like that. And then the main point I think he's getting to, yet the fragility of this regulating system is now threatened by human activity. So, Fabian, help me out. How do you think we should reword that, and what words would you put it into? This section right here. Yeah. Out there, Fabian? Chloe and Lizzie, what do you think? What is that sentence essentially saying? Somebody want to help them out?
Are you talking about just like reading it?
No, put it in different words. It say the same thing.
Different words, okay.
What are they basically saying in that sentence? Okay, all right, go ahead. Everybody, go ahead. Andre, do you have an idea?
What was that?
If you have a suggestion, go ahead and type it in the chat.
Okay.
I'll take, alternate words for what's in this sentence. What other words for human activity can we use? What other words for fragility? You can look also up, you can look at the sources and things like that. It's not cheating, really, it's not. Now make sure it means close enough the same thing or it will sound weird. Yeah, that's essentially what it's saying. Yeah. If we change human to people, you guys good with people? Or society? Human beings? Human beings.
Society.
Like society. Society's actions are disrupting this. So what's another word for fragile? I like it. It's delicate balance. Now we go back and check it. So now society's actions are disrupting this delicate balance. Balance works, okay, good. So then you go back and compare it to the original. Fragility of this regulating system is now threatened by human activity. Society's actions are disrupting this delicate balance. I think that'll work, right? So you just take it like one sentence at a time, make sure that it doesn't sound like the original too much. Choose synonyms. And go back and check that it accurately says what is there. Sometimes people get too far away and they don't use specific enough words, just like when you're editing. And then if somebody hasn't read the original, you wouldn't know at all what they were talking about or what the topic was. So make sure that the words are specific enough. Because we're still using words like weather and climate and atmosphere and things like that, so we still know what the topic is. So now I want to put you in groups and have you guys help each other construct one. So let's work on, I'll post one in the chat and then I'll send it to all the message rooms too. And I'm going to have you guys work on paraphrasing it as a group. And then we'll come back and share the different versions. So the 20s were years when drinking was against the law and the law was a bad joke because everyone knew of a local bar where liquor could be had. They were the years when organized crime ruled the cities. The police seemed powerless to do anything against it. Classical music was forgotten. When you say high vocabulary, you have to use formal vocabulary. You don't have to use big words. You just have to use more formal words. Does that make sense? Because words can be small and still formal. Because we are going to, that's a good question though, because we're going to talk about the level of formality in your writing. So this is the passage I want you guys to work on, and I want you to have a signal phrase, paraphrase it, and then have the citation at the end. It's on page 25. See the citation? So I'm going to put you in random groups and have everybody work on this, and then we'll all come back together. And each group, I want you to paste your version into it. Only one person has to paste the one from your group in there. Does anybody have any questions before I break it up? I will also send the instructions to everybody. Use a signal phrase, paraphrase this passage, and cite it. Okay. We're learning, so if you make a mistake, it's not a big deal. Just give it a shot. Okay, I'm gonna put you guys in your breakout rooms. Please join your group after you get the invitation.
Ma'am, I had a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. So the question was, so sorry. So when we usually cite, we need like the title, right, of like what the writing piece is titled. In this case, what would it be?
In this case, it has the author. So the only things you need for MLA are the name of the author and the page number. And if you guys decide to use the author's name in your signal phrase, like according to Kathleen Yancey, then you don't have to have it at the end in parentheses. You only have the page number. If you don't use her name, then you would have it at the end with the page number. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Ma'am, I've just sent it to you. Is this okay? Is this privately?
It's already in the format for the works cited. What I'm looking for is what it would look like at the end of the sentence of your paraphrase. So I'm looking for the citation. So like
Okay.
paraphrased it, what would you put in parentheses at the end of that sentence?
Okay. I'll look it up then. Try to.
And that's why we're practicing it, to get familiar with it.
Okay. So you want so I'm supposed to like
Yeah,
this
if
would just so okay.
according to Kathleen Yancey, and then you have the paraphrase for your group. Then at the end, the only thing that you would have in parentheses is the page number and a period after it in parentheses. So it would look like, see, I don't know, can you see the chat?
Ma'am, are you sending it to me privately? Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Let me see. So this is what would appear at the end. Let me see. I'll send it to you, and you can let me know if it doesn't show up. Okay.
Yeah, I see the bracket in 25 and a dot. Okay, so that would be the end, and in the starting you'd want according to Kathleen Yancey, and then paraphrase, and which is basically an abstract of what the text is about.
Yeah, it's the what.
And then ended with. Okay.
That
Okay,
makes
so this is how we would actually cite our sources in the MLA paper. We wouldn't. Okay, got it. Okay, I'll get back to the. Could you join me back to breakout room 3?
okay. Whose group were? Oh yeah, you were in room 3, right? Okay.
Yes.
I'll put
Thank
you back. Okay, you should be able to go ahead and join back. Let me know if it doesn't work.
No, not yet. It hasn't popped up.
Yeah. Because it won't let me. It'll let me move you to another room. So hold on a second. I might move you to a room and then move you back.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Okay, I moved you,
Yeah.
and now I'll move you back.
Okay, I get a notification that says room 1. So I click
Okay,
room
now
3. Yeah, I got room 3. All right. See you, ma'am.
all right.
Yeah.
Hey, Liberty, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's just my Wi-Fi keeps cutting in and out, and then it just keeps taking me out of Zoom and then back into Zoom. So I don't know what's going on.
I'm very sorry. Which group were you in?
I was with Janie, Orlando, and Mary.
Okay, I'll put. Just a second. Okay. Everybody get finished, or do we need more time? Okay, the session's about to end in about a minute, so I wanted to check in with everybody. go ahead and I'm going to start a new session, and then I want you to paste into the chat when we start the new session, whatever you guys have. If you're not done, that's fine. I want to see what it is that you've been working on. All right. So I'm going to stop this one and start another one, and I'll see you in a second.